So hello bookworms, in this video I'm going to explain you about the theater of absurd, or we can call it the theory of absurdism. The theory of absurdism got its hype after 1950s, or we can say after the end of World War II. The theory of absurdism basically states that we are living in a life, in a world of loop, which is basically a cycle, which is a never-ending cycle. And we all are somewhere stuck in a cycle that is unbreakable and which leads to no meaning and no sense at all. And this theory ultimately makes sense to all the people in the world after the end of World War II, because people during the World War has faced a lot of things, like war-like situation has made their mind psychologically, they had got a really bad impact on their mindset. And apart from that, they have seen the world going from a proper working environment to a really bad environment in a world of hell. Whatever they can see is that no opportunity is going ahead, and all they can see is a world of mess and blur all around. So during this time period, what they have observed is absurdism. Now, the theory of absurdism, let's think about it in detail. Theory of absurdism basically means we are living in a cycle, in a world which has no meaning at all. And there is some outside factor or outside force which is somehow controlling us. It can be anything, like an alien or anything outside factor which is somehow controlling us, because we are doing something which we have no control of. Now suppose you are walking on a road waiting for something or somebody, and ultimately there come a person telling you that the person is not going to come today, but you have to come tomorrow for that. And what do? You come again next day. So that's how next day when you come there, the other person again, he reached there in order to tell you the same thing, that today also the person is not going to come, just come tomorrow. So that's how the person who is waiting for somebody came there regularly without any thought of whether the person is going to meet him or not, and he himself don't know whom he is going to meet. So that's what the theory of absurdism all about. You are living in a loop, you have no meaning, no purpose, nothing to concentrate, and these all things somehow lead to endless confusion, endless fights, and nothing else. And this is somehow a glimpse of a story of Samuel Beckett, which is The Waiting of Godot. Here the person is waiting for Godot. Now, there are theories that Godot basically means God. The person is basically waiting for the God to arrive and save them from the hell-like situation that has created after the World War. But ultimately no one came. And he is living in a loop, in a cycle, again and again, coming there, waiting for Godot. And they are basically two persons waiting for Godot. And both of them somehow are fighting with each other, creating unnecessary things, and they are doing it again and again. They are fighting, then coming together, fighting and doing irrational type of things, like hanging on a tree, talking endlessly to each other about something which they have no understanding about. So that is what theater of absurd. It got somewhat popular after the Samuel Beckett's work Waiting for Godot. And the term basically, which means the theater of absurd, it got famous after the work of Martin Esslin, which is the theater of absurd. The name is the same for both of it. And if we talk about like the theory or the word absurdism, from which it got originated, then absurdism is something which got originated from the work of Albert Camus. Albert Camus' work, The Myth of Sisyphus. From there the word absurdism came. Absurdism is basically nothing. Absurdism, because there are many people who got confused about this word, like what is absurdism, we are not able to understand about it. But absurdism is nothing, it is a reaction against the world war-like situations where people have no hope left. People are literally seeing the world going in a disastrous situation. People are literally seeing the world getting hell. England, a place which was somewhat known as a place which has colonized most of the countries in the world, has turned out to be hell after World War itself. No matter the place, no matter, England basically comes under Axis powers, and Axis powers won during the World War II, but it doesn't matter who lose and won during the World War like situations, because both the winners and losers, whatever concept you call them, they both suffer. Nobody win during the war, and it is the common people who suffer the most. It is the common people. That has happened during the World War First, like between 1914 to 1918, and that the same thing happened during the World War II. That somewhat started during the time of 1939 and ended with 1945, the attack on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So that's what the impact of World War has created around the countries. No matter what the condition was, but somewhere things hasn't stopped yet, because somewhat it is the beginning of marching for getting entangled as a superpower, which both Russia, or we can say earlier USSR and USA, wanted. So that somewhat after 1945 gave a rise into the Cold War like situation, and that has impacted people, the common people, badly, because they have to psychologically suffer from severe pain of seeing darkness all around where there is no hope. Because they are, just suppose you are living in an environment where there is no hope, all over there is war-like situations, and you start losing faith in everything, because there was a time when people are literally suffering and nobody is coming to save them. You somewhat got confused about all of those things, whether the universe really wanted to help those people or not. You get confused about all of those things, and that made you realize what is the purpose of living life if these type of situations are arising. There is inflation, there is unemployment, there is environmental degradation, there is hazardous impact on each and everyone's psychological, physical, emotion, every aspect of people. So what you expect? Nothing. You live in a loop. Believe that somewhere, some spirit or some light come in your life, and you get out of this darkness or the winter or the harshness of the world you're facing, and that's what you really wanted. But those times, literally, people are really not aware. Not aware is not the word, but people are aware of everything, but they can't do anything. They are helpless of everything. They are helpless of themselves. They are helpless of the people they do trust. They are helpless from everything. The only thing they do is to helplessly repeat the same cycle every day. And that creates a loop which make people believe that there is some outside force which is literally controlling them, and there is no sense of purpose. Although somewhat in this theater of absurd, the works which is written, which is based on this absurdism, is somewhat create a comic type situation, because people are repeating same type of pattern and same type of things. Now let's focus on something which is very much factual. And the thing is basically, I'll be telling it in stages. 1942, the year when Albert Camus basically used the word absurdism in his play, which is The Myth of Sisyphus. And after the World War, basically after 1945 and during the 1950s, Samuel Beckett's plays, we can see in Samuel Beckett plays the actual meaning of absurdism. The theories, which basically means we are living in a cycle which has no meaning, and there is some outside factor which is controlling us and which is leading to somewhat irrational communication, no logical thinking, comic relief situations, and in a confusion which has no focus, which leads to no focus and no result at all. Then again a cycle got repeats. So the thing can be seen in Samuel Beckett's plays, Waiting for Godot is the most perfect example of it, and I'll really recommend you to just go through the work. It is very interesting. And although it is very much absurd and it has no meaning at all, but that's what the concept is all about, because absurdism is basically means meaningless and no meaning at all. Thirdly, if we talk about the time period of 1960s, then we can see in the work of Martin Esslin, the Theatre of Absurd. Theatre of Absurd is the work of Martin Esslin, where he has officially coined the term absurdism in his work, the Theatre of Absurd. So that's what the stages 1942, 1950s, 1960, the term actually goes viral. And that's how absurdism is all about. It's easy peasy and you can easily understand it after going through this video. And do follow me if you are here up till now, and just recommend me about any of the concept you don't understand in literature, and I will really tell you about it. Tab tak ke liye just subscribe to my channel, follow me, and bye bye.